Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the weapons of H3VR. So today we're taking a look at this gun, the M3 grease gun. So there's two variants in H3VR. We have this, the M3, regular one, and this, the silenced M3. The difference is this has a built-in silencer, that one doesn't. And also note we have the M3 version, not the M3A1 version, the M3A1 being a simplified version with some improvements. So let's get to this gun. So the M3 was made in response to the Thompson gun being a bit too expensive to produce. So I believe this started getting into proper service in 1944, so near the end of World War One, and the M3A1 was literally the end of World War One. So most World War One guns were this version. It is chambered. Let's move this down. In 45 ACP, as is common for American stuff, it has a foldable stock, as you can see. The current model for this one the foldable stock doesn't work, so whatever. It has a simple peep sight, simple front post, takes a single or double stack single feed magazine. It has a dust cover, which this dust cover also acts as the safety. So with that installed, if we pull back the bolt, you can't fire, open it, you can fire. This also has a pretty unique bolt, as you can see, or not bolt, but bolt handle, in that you have this lever instead of usually what is just a bolt directly or lever directly attached to the bolt. The M3A1 version, instead of having a lever, you had to actually pull the bolt back with a finger. You had to put a finger in the chamber, or not in the chamber, but in here there was a little groove on the bolt similar to this. You pull it back and voila. Which of course, not an ideal system, but it was cheap. Like I said, dust cover acts as safety. And it's a simple blow-like submachine gun, if I remember correctly. So without further ado, let's do some shooting through the peep sight. It's only full auto, there's no safety lever at all. But as you can see, it has a very low rate of fire. Need to just pull it, and it doesn't open on empty, as most of the cheaper SMGs doesn't. Like, with the slower rate of fire, you can easily just shoot single fire. Let's take this. Boop. Boom, boom. Super easy. And its slow rate of fire, let's clear that up, also means if we get out on target, it's quite easy to keep shots on target. Not the best shooting from my part, granted. But that's rate of fire, it's just boom, 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 very slow. And but this pistol, SMG, would serve with the British United States Army in tanks and such until I believe the 80s. So this thing had a long service life, and it replaced the Thompson, of course. It was used in vehicle crews up to the 80s, but it got replaced by better things. But it was cheap to produce. It did its job well enough. It was simple. It was less accurate than the Thompson, though. Despite its lower fire rate, single shot the Thompson was more accurate. Still though, cheap, easy to produce, perfect for wartime. Was a bit late in the scenario compared to others like the grease gun or the Sten gun, the PPSH-41, the MP40. Those were all beginning of the war. This was end of war. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video on the grease gun. Be sure to vote for end of the month guns, which you are gonna see 31st of January and the 3rd of February. Be sure to vote for those guns at my Patreon. You can find the link to my Patreon in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!